Welcome back, Crypto fam, to another episode on the Coin King channel. I am your host, I'm the Crypto TA. Bitcoin. We're still trying to get this short play out on Bitcoin. We did manage to get down to a 2-1 risk to reward yesterday before we got this push back up here. Recent rejection again from our standard deviation 1. I do see that the 4-hour is attempting to correct to the upside. So the consolidation is really what the 4-hour time frame needs right now, in order to be able to flip up positively. And the daily time frame, I'm really not feeling at all since we lost a 20 SMA on the daily time frame. Um, it's not showing actual strength. So that would be the only problem I'm seeing right now is basically the daily. And this information right here, what you're seeing right here with the standard 1 here, that's coming from the daily time frame. You can see up here where we actually lost a 20 SMA. That really became a struggle for Bitcoin after losing that on the daily. So just still sideways right now. See if we can't get this to play out all the way down here. Still going to be looking for the current target of 87,730. But overall, you know what I've said. I'm really interested in Bitcoin taking the liquidity from down here around 86.4. So that would be a really good long position to take. I'm not saying we're going to do that right now because again, the 4-hour moving sideways, it does suggest that there is a chance. It's squeezing also. The 4-hour is squeezing, compressing. That could be the explosive move that actually gives Bitcoin that little boost to push it up out of here and at least back up here to around 92.3 today. I think yesterday we was entertained about 94 or something like that. Let me go through here. You can see where we got the little bounce from yesterday. Golden pocket number 1. So number 1, it was golden pocket, and then it recovered above the value area low here, which is where we're currently seeing this little bit of a bounce from right now, just this little value area low. I was assuming that maybe this could have been a wave 2, and we're about to head into a wave 3. It's not giving me that vibe anymore. So like I said, I was looking for something like this right here, about 74 in here to get into these fair value gaps we got up there. We still just sideways. Uh, I did enter into a long position on this value area low though, because I didn't have a long position. I tried one yesterday, but we broke down from here, and I already have a short from up higher, so I took a long off of that. Let's see over here. 4 hour just still holding the golden pocket. You can see how, we're not moving above this signal line right here. So that's clearly where our rejection came from. But it's starting to set in the squeeze in here. So this may be, like I said, this sideways consolidation is prepping the 4-hour. Now, can we still drop? Absolutely. We can still drop, take this liquidity down here that I keep harping about, that I believe everybody else has been harping about too. Take this liquidity right here, put in some bullish divergence, and then that is a super, 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 super duper nice long position to take from there. But right now, no follow through on the 4-hour just yet. It's gearing up for whatever it's going to do. Daily. Yep, nothing changed here. Just continuing to reject from the higher low trend line here from the bear flag. It is what it is. It's a bear flag until it's invalidated. And so we're continuing to see us wick above it and not manage to actually reclaim here on the daily time frame. Just constant rejections there. And that's it. See, I put this on a line chart. Maybe you can tell it a lot better that we're not actually crossing above that prior support line. And I I don't think that there was, no. Yeah. So that's where we are. I took a long. We are making lower highs and lower lows at the moment, but we'll see what happens here. So I don't think that there's much of a difference with, let me get this on here. Yeah. No big difference here with Ethereum either. It's actually looking worse, but I mean, what more can we expect? It's actually looking a little bit worse, but we did get this bounce right here off of this standard 2 right here for Ethereum. I don't like any of this, so stretch this out over here. Go ahead and delete that one. So chopping it. I'm not really seeing the momentum anywhere. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Not really seeing it. Let me drop that. Yeah, so you can see the value area low here for Ethereum as well. Um, Also, again, not managing to push back inside of this trend line right here. So just constant rejections from it. And if it's not, I mean, if it's not going to reclaim, then all we can do is just look down here towards the next level, which is going to be about that 27, 26. Right now, it's just rejection after rejection. 1, 2, 3, 3 days of rejecting from here so far. Yeah. Solana just currently in between previous day high and previous day low. Not breaking the previous day low, which is, that's useful. Um, but it's still not showing any strength just yet either. I did mention to you about Solana did reclaim this at one point, but since it's chopped it quite a bit, I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I marked out 3 zones in here, really just where we've been consolidating at the high here, the low here, and we're stuck in the middle somewhere right here. I would be interested in Solana if it does come back down into this zone right here, though. Um, and don't forget, that's also going to be where your value area low is located at as well. I believe we said about, let me see, a good candle I can use that'll make this a lot easier. This low right here, 123. So your value area low is at 123, about $4 off from that right now. I mean, if the 4 hour plays out, like I said, I'll be looking for it to get up here, but 4 hour doesn't give it. And that daily, ugh. This short is still in play again. This short is still um in play for anybody that did take it yesterday. It's, just know that this is wishful thinking. That's all this is, wishful thinking. Because if this fails, then the short continues to pay out. But this is, you know, wishful thinking to hedge against the short. Stop loss just below the low we made yesterday. Mm. Just so you can see that I'm in this long also. So this is the long right here. I was having a conversation with the Coin King earlier. Just, I know, I understand how um, content creators operate. I don't subscribe to that personally. The clickbait stuff, I just don't subscribe to it. But these videos that are like, we would not pump until this happened. We should be at this price. Um, According to M2 Money Supply, no, no, that is just not how it works. That's not how it works. We're at the price that we're at because people are selling. Okay. So sellers are dominating the market. It has nothing to do with M2 Money Supply. It has nothing to do with any of these. I don't understand. I don't understand. It has nothing to do with any of that. Supply and demand is what it is. And if there are more If there's more supply than demand, it goes down. There's more demand than supply, maybe you go sideways, but you go up. Okay. So when people are buying, price goes up. When people are selling, price goes down in the story. It's not a, it'll start pumping when this happens, or we should be at $200,000 right now. No, we should be exactly where we are because sellers are in control right now. When buyers take over, it'll be a different story. We can talk about probabilities, but the clickbait stuff is hilarious. Gold is still grinding higher. I know we talked about potential SFP yesterday, but as you can see from that price action, we did not get an SFP. We did kind of swing fail yesterday's high though, the close yesterday, but it still looks really nice. I was taking a look at it. A little bit of a squeeze on gold, current moment. Let's see. Bitcoin is doing that. So with gold over here, you can see how this is our previous day high right here. Now we did fall back below that previous day high in here. Had a little bit of a squeeze in here, which I told you beforehand that that's a really good strategy with gold. But overall, this still looks nice. If it comes back down, maybe it bounces back off this trend line right here and continues up to the top side of the channel. This 5,000 right here, this 5,083, that could be pushed up a little bit. We'll see how they feel about a psychological level of $5,000 though. But I know that this can be extended up a little bit from where I looked at it this morning. I just left everything as it is. It really doesn't matter if it breaks up above this. You'd be looking for it to roll back down. So don't look at it as a pure resistance area. Just like over here, you got the little break below it, right? This one here. Um, no closures below it, but you did get the break below it and then it showed a reaction there. So we just be waiting on something to happen right here as well. Right now, the 1 hour time frame, again, I don't really see it doing anything more than this. Not just looking at the 4 hour time frame, it doesn't look like it will. We'll see if it wants to give a little bit more. Today, still holding above, still higher lows in here right now. So no breaches of previous day lows. So if you like buying tops, and if we actually never know where the top is going to be on gold, right? Because it just continues to pump, and this might be your entry right here, this trend line right here. See how that goes. Silver, nice move after that gap bounce. Coming into now with silver, I did my best in terms of the channel. I don't really think that. I'm gonna take it real quick. I don't really know about this one. It was worth me giving it a shot to see how this gonna work. You can see we got a little bit of a wick right there, a little wick reaction here. Just looking at it from this day, let me put it on 12 hours so you can see 24 hours. But that doesn't matter with gold. Okay, thinking about stock market. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of a wick right there, but whether or not this breaks out, it could. And then I'd be looking up here, and I think that this one as well, I was able to shift it up a little bit. But again, I'm just gonna leave it as it is, and then that way, if it does manage to push up through here, you'd be looking forward to roll back down. That's 101. I know we talked about 100 being a psychological level for price action, and this candle got as high as 99.37 right here. So see how that works out for over here. That will take you to here. anything, maybe a previous day high bounce, for silver. Let me just see. No, silver still looks fine. I don't see anything wrong with silver right now. Do have a bit of a squeeze in here, but um, at this point, this wouldn't meet the criteria that I'd be looking for right now. Uh, Here, let's see, 4-hour time frame. Yeah, looks fine. Looks absolutely fine. And maybe just a previous day high. Maybe it'll do this. You'd be lucky if it does that. But maybe just a previous day high here for silver. Take a look at copper. Yeah. Okay. So copper is above previous day high, which is good. Struggled with it a little bit right there, but it is above it. Just hitting a little bit of resistance in here currently from prior um prior trend line. But it has broken above this one, has even back tested this one as well. So could be a little inverse head and shoulder here too for 1 hour. 1 hour looks decent. 4 hour looking decent. Okay, 4 hours coming back to life. Um, Let me see what that daily looks like. The daily I still don't like. Um, yeah, the daily I still don't like. So this could just be a lower high being put in right here. So I tell you what, just draw one and see how we respect it. Yeah, because this could just be a lower high, um, just based on that daily. Nope, nothing. Oh, nice move on NVIDIA right here. I thought it was gonna move in the I thought it was gonna break down outside of this gap fill that it got. But so far this morning, that's decent. We just have to see if they're gonna dump it off afterwards. Just hit the top side of trend line in here. Breakout would be nice. Let's see if this could be a little higher low and we can get up here. Mm, mm, okay, let me look at this. Mm, Let me get this break back down below here, and if we do lose that level, we could take out this low and then see sort of reaction around 288. Awesome. Should be moving. Yeah, so that leaves us with slight rejection right here. Um, Tesla. We do have the Tesla alone that's, from here. You can't see it off of this, can't see it off of this chart. Why? Well, actually, because I was using the first pane, so you can't really see that. But, um, we got that first bounce off of here, and then this was the second one. Metrics are holding up. Still in this Netflix spot long position. I just stopped out at 80. I just go, hopefully it's not a good bounce like right here. Then we could at least push back in here and potentially get a bigger swing out of this. If not, we're continue to look down. Um, right down here towards the mean, this zone right here. Nothing's changed there. Apple not getting back above this level just yet, so continue to look down here. Yeah, and back and forward. Let's see. Let's test this. Just alone. Like I said, maybe it gets in here and does this gap fill right here. You know, I tried another long yesterday on Palantir. Probably about I don't know 3 hours before close, but it eventually came back down and stopped me out. So that one didn't work that time. I don't think there was anything else in here. Yeah, the short. Um, I don't know why I didn't set this up here on this line. I didn't, because I was talking about an SFP. Okay, makes sense. Tried to short this one here. You can see that didn't work out for me. Bitcoin still trying to grind up a little bit. Not moving fast, but still trying to grind up a little bit. Oh, how I wanted that. What was I looking at? To be honest with you, I don't know. 'Cause that looks absolutely fine. Oh, I think I might have been looking at a cloud cover, thinking that if it didn't manage to get back above that cloud cover, that maybe it would roll over. But, coming to our, I think this is our highest weekly level that we have in here, which is at 265. So nice look, AMD. And of course, I have right now. Let's see what this looks like coming up. That looks good. That looks really good. No, that looks amazing. No, it looks amazing. Now, we'll put in a bear. It look like it might put in a bear div coming up here. And we still have our channel right here as well. So one, two, then here. Our potential high. I wouldn't even call this a channel because you can see how it only respected. Let's see. How did I draw this out? I think I drew it from here and then dropped it into here. And yeah, and we completely broke through it here. So yeah, I wouldn't even. We can look at this potential. Well, it already had rejected right there, third time. We'll see if fourth time is a charm as well. We'll do that. Um, Probably will break through it a little bit, as you can see from these other moments in here. Uh, if it keeps going, then I will look up here towards that 1.618 right there. And that's at 355 here for AMD. I don't think that there was anything else in here that needed to tap on, touch on, or anything like that. Okay, cool. Other than hood needs to reclaim back above here, get back inside this triangle formation. Otherwise, an expansion could start to happen if it breaks down below that 100 again. Would also be taking out that low right there. And we're already putting in lower highs, so another lower low, and it will expand, and then we can start to look down towards here, or even just the golden pocket 786, something like that. For anybody that's in hood, I think that was about it. Already went to this here as well. 24 hours. We reclaim back above this daily level, monthly level, then great. Otherwise, I am looking to take a position down here, more so towards this 173 per coin. And nothing else in here. So I'll be looking out on this chart right here today, see if I can't uh, catch something. So I got stopped out uh, on this drop right here yesterday. Actually, let me make sure I'm stopped out. Let me refresh this chart and see if they decide to take me out of this trade. Yeah, they took me out. I got stopped out right here. With this wick right here, took me out. And I think I didn't have it on that low. I think I had my stop on this low right here. So yeah, they got me yesterday. Even though, this holding above here is great for Palantir. Because this is where Palantir, not this exact line, but where it's currently sitting at, this is where Palantir has reversed that every time since 2020. What was it, 2023? Since 2023, it has reversed off of that standard one every single time. So we'll see if it comes back down here again. I'll give it another shot. Let's take a look back over here at Biddy. And I think this trend line right here, if I'm not mistaken, I was doing something in here yesterday. Okay, yeah, I was when we got this drop right here, I was trying to see if that would hold by connecting these two right here, and it did for a little bit. It did for a little bit, but yeah, I was thinking like some sort of a funky inverse head and shoulder, but yeah, definitely not that. Something that I need to check out that I haven't actually looked at in a little while here. Sorry for my little looking my mouse. Told you I'm using a plugged in mouse. GBP looks pretty good. That's what I want to take a look at. I haven't actually looked at Forex market in a bit. And GBP is actually shaping up pretty nice on the weekly time frame. When I was just looking at it, I kind of like that weekly time frame for it. We are still inside of um, our range, which it has been inside this range for oof, oof, been inside this current range right here. Yeah, 2016. Been inside this current range right here. This is a common trouble area for GDP right here. For middle of the range. You can drop this down actually. Let's bring these in mix. Let's see. That might actually be better. Got to lose that. But the weekly, it's not too shabby. It's not too shabby. It's not. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna put us back on Bitcoin. I don't know how many people we have that tune in. That's actually in the Forex. But you can trade Forex over on BTCC as well. If you're interested in getting into any of this stuff. The only ones I really care about is GBP, the Euro, and JPY. Is it is what it is. Alright. Dollar looking like crap, looking like crap. Might consider this one right here later today. Let's see. And that's my favorite GBP. If I'm gonna trade one, it'll be that. Not really giving any analysis on it, I know. Take a look at it though. Maybe next week I can start putting in some analysis on Forex. Price action is probably moving up a little bit too fast in comparison. Not price action, but yeah, price action might be moving faster than momentum. We got 20 SMA, what we're sitting at right now on this 15-minute time frame. It's 20 SMA. We put us on 15 so we can start getting that noise. My bad. Yeah, 20 SMA here. And then you can see the space that we have in between here. It's not that it can't push up with the space, it's just that it's usually not as successful. Um, but we're at a little bit of resistance in here. Yeah, it's a little bit too speedy. Another thing we're not getting past too, if I look at the 4-hour time frame, um, I mean, you can see the point of control there as well, um, which all of this stuff ties in together, to be honest with you. It all ties in together. But you can see how the 5 and 10, how they are, how they're positioned. So no cross of that 5 just yet above that 10 either. Even though price action here and there has popped up above it. still not crossing above it. So the momentum isn't actually going anywhere. Price is just the thing that's been moving. I tried trading with the 7 minute yesterday. I just can't do a time frame less than 15. Now I will go down here to the lower time frame and look for a confirmation probably to see if it's worth it, but really I just don't like I don't like viewing the chart from these time frames. I would try to do it every now and again, but then if I get trapped down here on this time frame, I start screwing up real bad. I would start screwing up real bad. I can see everything. Right. Yeah, I can see everything from the 15 minute. Take a look at some of those. I guess dusk is back to normal. Still falling. Anybody that caught dusk, still falling. I think this had popped back up. We were looking at, um, you know, uh, this had already happened when I came back over here to look at it. Where we talked about the bearish divergence, and usually when you have a bear div, you get a short retracement, especially in something that's doing really good, and then you look for that retracement back into golden pocket 786, and then the drop down. So uh, this was this is still just kind of at this point just consolidating, going sideways. I didn't find the. I thought that the was it the daily chart I was looking at on this? I thought the daily was okay. When I looked at it, no, this is bearish still, but it could flip up right here. It could. It's not the worst chart. Let's see it from this perspective. Maybe that short plays out. completely. Maybe it does. For anybody that did take it, it was an idea. We had 2 setups in here on it, which one was, this fair value gap right here, so you wanna look for the 50 to be it. Didn't quite get that in here. It was a lot easier right here, but market structure, mm, it has changed. So it is putting in some higher lows and higher highs at the moment. Let's see if this is turned into an inverse fair value gap. Could be the case. Um, I'm not trading that. Let's see. Small, narrow. Yeah, see what I'm using. A narrow. Daily, I know that that's wrong at this point. Turn that off. That's wrong now. Um, Monero's trying to hold right here. Um, trying to hold at 786. I think this is the trend line that we were saying we wanted to get it back on. So if it can get back to here, then that could be a good long to take if it can get back to here. If not, then maybe even they want to take the liquidity across this trend line right here too. How old is this one? It's not that old. It is trying to hold through here, but this little bear flaggy situation in here for anybody that's in narrow. Let me see. Come on. Not really feeling this part right here. But no bullish divergence. Um, no bullish divergence either. So I would really like it. Um, I'm just gonna leave that like that. I would really like it if you could put in some bullish divergence by dropping back into this trend line right here. That would be good. Like that. I have to bring this in as much as possible. Low leverage. Um, it's gonna be a lot safer if um, probably wouldn't look for too much out of it. Probably wouldn't even look for that. Let's see. It's more like the golden pocket, probably. No, golden pocket's all the way up there. Something more like a 50. And this can be adjusted a little bit more. If you're not using a lot of leverage, then you're safe with a little 3, 4, 5, 5% move down. If it's a long, you really don't have to use leverage. And if you're not using leverage, then I would actually drop this in a lot more. Just say you're not using leverage. using like a 1-2% leverage, something like that. Definitely wouldn't do 3, but need to see some bullish divergence in here. It doesn't have it right now. Okay. This may not have any either. Definitely looks a lot better. So it's either about to get a little bounce up or let me see. Let's see if it's something. The bear did. This doesn't look crappy. I drew this line out just to look for a closure actually above this line right here. That could be a validation right there for Horizon right now, since it actually wasn't a bear div. But in order to invalidate the potential for a bear div, it does need to get a close above outside of this 1031. If you see a close outside of it, if that's the thing that happens first, then that'd be a good entry off of that closing candle. Otherwise, I would look for this to, I mean, it barely tapped the surface in here on this 786. No actual bullish divergence is in play as far as I could tell. Let me check another indicator and see. Nothing there. MACD getting across above the signal line, but that could be moving a little bit too fast. Nice little squeeze in here. Nice little squeeze. The 1042. Yeah, so a closure above here would be a entry signal for me, in my opinion, unless this was something you wanted to enter now, but your stop would have to be all the way down here. Um, it's a big difference. Not necessarily a dollar difference. It doesn't look like. Let's see how bad that would be to say you were in it right here. And that would have to be a validation. And it's not really a pivot. It's a big difference. It's a little bit more than I would want to sit on, to tell you the truth. So I just wouldn't do it from here. The change of behavior with a closure above here, yeah, I'll still have to drive my stop loss in um, on a 4 hour. Let me go to a 1 hour and see. This is still based on a 4 hour condition. Mm, It doesn't change the stop much. So it's basically doing what Bitcoin is doing. So it's not really bad here on this 1 hour time frame. See, this is about in line with my view as far as that value area high goes. So I guess that is something you can look at. I believe this has changed, these levels. I believe they have. I just threw that one in there. Santos. Okay, I most certainly will. This looks good over here on the daily time frame. May not get that mean reversion in here. Um, I think that this may have moved slightly a little bit anyway. So yeah, it's not looking bad. It looks like it would come up and put in a bear div, another bear div though. Um, that's what it looks like it would do. So maybe this is just coming back into golden pocket. And I would check to see. I would look for bearish divergence on the move up though. It's back above here. Could mean it could get a little higher. Let me check one more thing. I'm gonna check out that yeah, I would long it if you do get a mean reversion because the higher time frame this looks pretty good. I would long it then. Don't really have an interest in longing it from where it is. If you can get the mean revert, it's good. Otherwise, I'd be looking to short it if it came back up here. I would look for a rejection around golden pocket 786. Um, if if it doesn't give the reaction in here, then I would look for something off of these highs. I don't know how relevant this 108 is still going to be to it. That is the highest target that I had in here the last time I looked at it. The last time I straightened it out. That's a nice chart. Let me see what structure is looking like. You must be putting in some bear deals. Yeah, putting in bearish divergence right here on this daily time frame. So, for sure, there's going to be the thing that's about to happen with this thing right here. Um, unless this bear deal gets invalidated, but you got a squeeze up here on the top side as well. Makes for a nice little combination for some sort of a correction to take place in here. Let's see what we got in terms of support and resistance. I'm going to weekly. Yeah, so it is at quite a bit of resistance in here as well. Yeah, structure does look pretty decent on it though here on this weekly time frame, but you're at resistance and you're putting in bear deals, so um, I'm just assuming that you're gonna get a rejection somewhere in here. Has to validate. Uh, I see it disappeared. Yeah, you can most certainly use that right there. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you want a re-entry somewhere lower. Uh, 205. Mm, thinking that retracement about 230, not with a bear div. Um, an entry at 230. You're talking about this high right here? Um, I'm thinking that you would come lower, to be honest. Um, unless you're trying to do something like this right here. Even this right here will put you lower. I don't know about 230. I really am. I personally lean towards this area right here, over this one right here. It's just my personal bias on this thing right here. That your support would come somewhere in here. Because if you're going to play out the bear div, first thing that's going to happen is likely you'll get a drop down. You get some sort of a lower high in here, and then you come back. You come back down. Like you would change the structure in here just momentarily on this lower time frame, even if you feel bullish on the daily or weekly, which doesn't look bad. Um, I just don't see the highs in here being the 230. Yeah, I don't see that being it. You usually retrace the bear div, and if you're retracing the bear div, then you're at least taking out this right here. You're coming lower than that, retracing the bear div. Bear div starts from even this one. Yeah, you retrace that bear div. Sorry. So long from here. So long from here somewhere, in my humble opinion. Which means this low is being respected. I would do it something like that. I understand. Starting to expand and it's working. So, okay, 3 day. I'll take a look at that. I know that that's a pretty large. This could be modified if you think you're going to get through that resistance. 3 day. Yeah, that is nice. for sure. That is nice. Let's see what you're talking about on the weekly though. It does look like a legit expansion. Um, but once it comes back inside of 239, um, expansion starts to chill. You're no longer gonna have a V shape on your Bollinger. It's gonna curve in. Once you drop that, once you come back, you're saying 230. Once you come back inside of that, like if that bear deal plays out, for sure it's gonna roll back. Got your 20 SMA in here. You got your mean reversion. After you come back in, you usually start to come towards your mean reversion. 3 days. I mean, it looks nice though. You got bearish divergence on the 3 day too. You might, my friend. You might be able to get something in here. I still wouldn't say 230 though. I just still wouldn't say 230. But this Bollinger does looks pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. That looks pretty good. I have a hard time with 230 though. But maybe you say you come down and bounce off of here instead of breaking or at least taking the liquidity from here, something like that. But maybe you can do that and then continue your trend up. I'm just concerned about the bear div and the resistance. Yeah, maybe you can do that. But if you don't do that, I would still, if you don't do that, then consider this down here. But 230, I just don't, I think that 230 is a little bit too, you're trying to say you're bounce off of this right here, off of the, somewhere around this SMA, which is going to move over time, um, and that high. So yeah, maybe you can do something like that though. And again, if you don't get that, then I would just look down here towards this 190, 170. Look in this area right here. Keep this on my radar. Bitcoin. This price action is moving a lot faster than momentum on this 15-minute time frame. Again, that's the case. Saw the little hammer candle. I mean, sorry, shooting star candle right there. Might try to keep us pinned here again until market opens. A little less liquidity is going to be in the market today as well. Oh, I got a session that's going to start in like 8 hours. Take a look at how I did. We're still gamma positive right now on IBIT, my ETF options. Options. I was trying to pull up the expected move on this one right here, but it's not pulling that data in. So let me just not do that. Put wall is at $50 here on my bid as well. So I just make a notation of that. This is the put wall. Yeah, here. At least as far as things stood yesterday, the ooh, so close. Actually came down into it yesterday. So the gamma flip point on the left, based on the yesterday's data was like $50.14. You can see it just kind of slightly came below that right here. Off of this one, this is also around about where we have our weekly, I think, level at. We're looking at the Bitcoin chart. So right in here, let me see. Yeah. So that's what gamma flips negative right here. And then at this point, if they manage to get the price back down here, if they manage to get the price back down here, I mean today is Friday, so you know, refresh for me. It seems to be less incentive in my opinion. But like right in here, so you can see where price was last at. The market closed yesterday, 50.67. Um, Now they're not going to update this data until the market opens, unfortunately. Um, this could about 49.50, which is about where we have that standard one at on the IBIT chart, which is showing up at 49.75. So with this being the strongest put strike right here, might do something like that, coming back into that 49.75 here on IBIT. Um, Possibly today. If not, that would be my bearish case right here. Back down here around about 49.50. Mhm. Bullish side, then maybe back up here towards this 52 right here. If we get an expansion off of that 4-hour time frame, let's just say Bollinger Squeeze breaks out and, it has that it factor because sometimes you can get a breakout squeeze and then it fizzles out. Um, but I would look somewhere right about 52. No, they have the call wall at 55 because that's what the biggest strike is. But being that today is Friday, I don't know that we'll rally up that high. Um, I better rally up that high. Mm, yeah, I have to look back at what I'm looking at for Bitcoin, but this seems a lot more doable in here. Take a look at max pain. Yeah, max pain's at 51.50, so that's about on par. That's about on par with 52. I think the rest would be a little bit too much. And that, let's see, 52 will put us all the way back in that golden pocket, which is, no, that's a different golden pocket. Yeah, maybe something as much as that. So somewhere between 52 and 49 is what I would say would be your expected move for today. And you can see what I'm saying right here, where you have this deviation right here at 49.75, and then the other one is up here at 51.52. So, yeah, I mean, this is about it for the expected move as far as I am concerned. Unless, like I said, that 4 hour, maybe the expansion on the 4 hour actually plays out. I don't know if this one has the expansion, but if Bitcoin's chart, um, Bitcoin, which does actually have a squeeze in here in this 4 hour. You see that it's trying to squeeze in here on this 4 hour. Not as compressed. They're not turned in like claws. You know, that's another thing. So I hate to see the compression start to leave a little bit, uh, but still compressing. And then you can see the squeeze too. When I did this, you can see the squeeze right here. Usually when it's at the downside, that green, when it's that green like that, you usually see a move up. When it's that red like that, you're looking for something down. Red like that, you're looking for something down. Red down, green up. Now, bullish divergence would be nice. Again, like I said about that liquidity down here, that would actually give it some bullish divergence. So it can slip up, come down here, take out that liquidity, and again, that would be a beautiful freaking loan, man. Beautiful loan. See, now this did not work. So you can see everything doesn't work out every time. Not every time. That's straight bear div. That's straight bear divs right there. But for the most part, most of the time, at least 7 out of 10, and that's me giving a little flex to not working. You usually have green, you're looking up. You even got the green squeeze in here as well for a move up. So we'll see what we get. I don't even care if it does this. This is like value area low is in here as well too. But for me, it's really about this liquidity. Relatively equal lows. Always a good place to come back for money. Mm, mm. Gonna be pretty slow there. Take a look at XRP. Right. XRP held up pretty decently down here around the 786 and that trend line down through here. Uh, Let me fix that previous day because I haven't been back on this chart. Actually, let me look at this daily. I'm still building in this area. Really giving me nothing no different than what I was already looking at, basically. That's my weekly low where the point of control is sitting at. Um, yeah, not really getting anything from this. Yeah, XRP doesn't look bad, though it is holding up. Despite the lower highs and lower lows, it is trying to hold up. And we got some compression in here on this 1 hour time frame. Looking forward to break to the upside. And we know if we lose the low in here, we can look for the liquidity from this candle right here to be taken. So it will come in and fill in this wick. That sort of that SFP right there could be a long entry for it. I don't think that we'll make our way down here to the 162 at the moment. Not if we get what we're looking for off the 4 hour. I think everything is kind of revolving around that right now. Yeah. So potentially an SFP down here if we do lose this trend line right here. SFP at this area right here. Not really a pattern. Let me drop this previous day high. I really need that. Previous day low is the value. I'll do it like this time. Then I'm just gonna drop this. And I just said, hold that. Drop that. That could lead to that sweep right there. Then be looking for a break to the upside on this. I like it. I'm still in relative weakness right now. See if we can't get back to 13 at least. See how that was going. I have to at least not cut through the body of the line. Sorry. I personally think that if Binance, loses this level right here, which obviously is critical to it, I don't think that it'll hold this one. I'll be looking for it to come back down towards this one right here instead, because these 2 are really, really close together. So momentum was barely able to move, plus I mean, everything else has the same little situation, we know, which was probably this one even hit the 382? No, barely got above the 236. Yeah, I barely got above the 236. Yeah, I would look for it to come down here. This is that weekly level right here, about 720. So if it's not holding here, that's the damage in my opinion, that it'll come back down here. RSI above 50 would be good for it. If it's gonna manage to hold here, then I wanna see a RSI above 50, otherwise it's just putting in bear deals across this 4-hour time frame. Could let me see if it looks anything like Bitcoin at all. Yeah. Yeah, if it gets above 50 on the RSI, that's what it needs, a mean reversion. If you get a mean reversion off that RSI, then it'll make some sort of a pushback in here. Even if it's just into these lows right here. I'm gonna scale right past ADA. No, I won't do ADA like that. Uh, I mean, nothing's changed in here with ADA. It's trying to put in a higher low right here, which would be good for it, but ADA is in such a pickle. Like coming back in here for this liquidity in here could be on the table, and then we'll be looking to make sure that we hold like this 17. Otherwise, we're going to expand. It's just not a good, good look that it's, really, really, really chopping this trend line right here. And just scoop up this sell side liquidity. Maybe just, yeah, maybe just sweep up that sell side liquidity. But it could be looking to come back down here towards this 17 cents right here. Hit these highs in here, something like that. Either this high. I really hate to see it expand. Maybe leave a little wick and tap into this one, but this isn't looking good for ADA. Let me extend this. And I got no good reads off of it. None. Weekly doesn't look good just yet. Daily, we just said, is trying to hold this. Um, price action is doing absolutely nothing. And then all it was getting in here is bear divs. So yeah, I would actually buy ADA if it took out this liquidity in here. Let's say drop down here around 17, I would buy it. I'm not going to buy it where it is right now. You can, it is risky, uh, but it's not showing any sort of strength. Hype, that's what we talked about. Hype possibly coming back down here towards this trend line low right here. It took out all the buy side liquidity that it could have had in here. I think I pulled that from the, doesn't really matter, because it took out all of that liquidity. Took out that liquidity, did nothing. Took out that liquidity, did nothing. So this is the other thing that we're looking at. Right here. Let me lock this. Right here. Seeing if we can't get this to hold. Something crazy. And then the last thing it has is this. Let's see what we have in here. Turn that off for just a sec. Yeah, lost. Oh, geez, no. I have to look for it to hold where it is, along with this ascending trend line right here. And that's the best prediction I can get for that trend line based on doing it like such. I think I did it from a daily. I didn't. I did it from, I might have to change this line. doesn't look good. Weekly doesn't look good. Um, 4-day bullish divergence. So it does have some 4-day bullish divergence through here. Uh, might be. That might be it. And that did look like Bitcoin. 4 hour looks like Bitcoin. Yeah, I guess at this point, that's what we have to look for it to hold. Either that or you just wait for a change of market structure, which is going to be taking out this high right here. Takes out this pivot right here with a closure above it. This is a smaller one right here. It wouldn't speak to the 4 hour time frame, but it will speak to something like the 1 hour or 15-minute time frame. You know, it won't do a lot for the 4 hour. Having a bullish divergence in here, huh? Now Zec is still holding above that VWAP right there. And then we had drawn this line right here. It's some sort of confluence to where the VWAP is. Somehow I still managed to be in this position from a long time back. But if we do lose that, I think that that was like let me see if that was a weekly level or not. I'm dancing around a weekly level right now. Nothing's confirming a change right now, but I would just continue to look at what we were looking at before. Just, potentially going to be holding this VWAP again. Dang, make sure I'm not cutting through anything. It did get pretty crazy in here. Um, let's see, cash. Yeah, so far that lines up. Confluence at this low right here. VWAP, standard 2. This little pivot, small pivot right there. Maybe even a solid wick down below it, but no closures down here, just into that level. But it's most likely to bounce from these lows and to consider shorting it. And then a push back up would be somewhere. Uh, I wanted to say, I wanted to say it was going to get above here. Let's see how the rest of, let's see how the next few days shape up for it. On the weekly, because it got really, yeah, mean reversion here on the weekly. Took a long time to get to that mean reversion, but you know, it goes back in here. Basically, look for a mean reversion. It falls through here to come back down here towards these lows and these highs right here, about 70 to 50, 70 to $50. But I know to me, it just seems more like you wouldn't want to try to short from this point. Um, Remember how wild it was over here. Over here, you still haven't even tapped this one just yet. And that's at 275. You see, just a 3 month. Yeah, 3 month, you just hitting one. I meant two. You're just hitting two right here with these highs. If you are gonna look to short, I would wait on the some sort of a reaction. It did this. It didn't quite touch the mean before pushing back into that one. So maybe somewhere in the some on that center. Get a small correction in here first, and then yeah, even if that small correction is back here to about 508, then consider You're gonna get a bounce out of here. That's my opinion. You will get a bounce out of here. Um, it's not really respecting the pocket, so likely it'll get a bounce. Bitcoin still chilling. Cool. Sweet. I feel the same way about Sui that I do about Ada right about now, and that is coming back in here and taking this liquidity from here. Maybe Sui comes down here and let's see, does Sui have anything down here? It really doesn't have anything down here. Um, I know if Sui loses this 133, then that's gonna strengthen the probabilities of it doing that. Taking out this sell side liquidity right here, possibly even hitting this 2-3. I don't think it's ever really hit it down here before. I know that this was supposed to be like the bear market low for Sui. Exactly where we popped to right here was bear market low. So that is our must hold right here at this 133. If we're losing that, then I would expect the price to get down into here. Um, Mostly everything else did reclaim that wick, you know, with the exception of a few that have been taking, dragging their behind, dragging to get down here and take it out. But I'm still bullish on Sui. I still like Sui a lot. I just think that that's more, yeah, if we lose this right here, then we can look at this sell side liquidity to get taken in here. No sense looking at the other time frames. Let's see what this was. I have not been back on this chart. I don't think I have. I have the levels in here. I don't. Know that that's huge. So, there's some exaggerated bullish divergence right in here, but their dip came off of that little peak right there. Probably gonna range through here for a little while, round out. So this zone right here could actually be the low for it, somewhere in here, but it's still gonna consolidate for a little while as far as I can tell through here. A little bit of consolidation through here, and then it'll try to push up. Uh, and probably probably do something like coming back into these lows in here. I would just look for that consolidation throughout here. Um, some pretty decent support in here. Ooh, data. Haven't looked at this chart in a while. Very long time. We never got a closure above that line. See if I had other weekly levels in here for. I do. I got a ton, and I stopped it right there. So hmm, I don't know why these two are staying on my chart. It's already basically been losing this high over here. The only high that's left, and it looks like it might have tapped it. It's this one. It's killing me. Just focus on my PC stop. Mouse, that constant annoying noise. Let's see if we can't get the reversal right here on theta. And we can look down here for, that piece of liquidity right here from that October, thought it was the 10th, October 10th drop that we got right here into this little zone right here. And then look for a push back up into the lows in here. Let's see what VWAP is sitting at over time to get above VWAP. But right now, I would consider this to be the range right here. I thought theta at one point had some. Never mind. And I basically just moved it for the start of 2025. You can also just look at where we're currently at for 2026, which isn't going to give much. Not going to get much. Just, let's see. Yeah. So 2025, which is basically the same as that peak up there. If I went like, we'll try this first. I like to go back to the start. The start is going to be useless right now. So, yeah. If it reclaims back above this standard deviation 1 right here, then I would look for it to get into here. Otherwise, I look for a drop here first and then look for a bounce from there. It's not looking good. Bitcoin 15-minute, squeezing a little bit tighter. Oh, geez. Astra? This is what Astra looks like. I think all of this was from a 4-hour time frame. Yes, move. Yeah, this is back when we had zero data faster. And we needed something. This used to work. Got nothing now. Safe to say I don't need this stuff anymore. Naturally, I would have moved this. I'm gonna do what I would normally do, which is reset it for that. All we got is horizontals. And then we got one down through here. Shade that one out. It's like parallel, which typically breaks to the upside. I mean, it has nowhere else to go. But I guess it can continue to go down. Um, we got that little bit of volume that's sitting right in here on Aster sees these, I believe. I believe what's happening right here. Let me see what I get out of this little area. I'll do it from here. Nothing different. With a break that trend line right there. And got more volume. At best, all you can do is really look for like an SFP, really, which would be here where this momentum line right here popped out, and it was gaining some sort of strength in here, but it doesn't look that strong to me, or this liquidity right here. Really got nothing else in here. Bearish divergence, but um, yeah, just have to look for it to hold, failure to hold, and get the break out of this ascending trend line right here, this channel formation. You want to say it's a channel or a triangle, whichever one you comfortable with, because it can be multiple things in here. It just needs to hold this trend line right here. Holds this trend line, then it will get that break up. See how the consolidation goes on it. Squeeze, a slight squeeze. So yeah, that's gonna be a 20 SMA break also. So yeah, I will look for an SFP off of where this momentum line popped out at. If uh, if the momentum is real, it should manage to hold here on any sort of a break in that trend line right there. It should manage to hold that. Let me see one more thing. Let me just see what that looks like. Yeah, that would be pretty if it did. Maybe that works. I don't really get anything on that one. Like, see what we got this one. Yeah, it has been like one zone since here. Like, that's a long time for something to work. I remain bullish on Litecoin down here. Personally, that's a long time for something to hold for it to fail now. It doesn't have to maintain this trend line right here. Really, this one right here is the most crucial one right here. So I'm buying. You know that we have this zone that we've been stuck in. It's not on the chart for some reason. But we have this zone that we continue to be stuck in. And I blocked it out at one point, but I forgot I can't use volume on this. It's just cool. I don't need it. Yeah, this is a buy for me. And I did buy. I did buy. So I'm gonna go wireless. I promise you. I'm gonna go wireless. I think this is gonna match up with that entire zone that I'm looking at. Uh, let's turn this blue. I think it matches up with the low of the trend line. No, it doesn't. Okay, it goes a little bit lower. I don't really want to use that then. I just want to stick with this. But it is on the high of that pivot. Didn't matter before. It dropped through it beforehand. That one. It can get worse, but I mean this is held up for a very long time. I can't do I don't know if I can do VWAP on this one not either. Volume, no, volume. Can't do VWAP on it either. This is where the risk on would be. It probably looks like garbage. Let me see. Yeah, that doesn't look healthy. Neither does that. So at best, we'll continue to walk the line right here, just kinda consolidate like it did over here, like it did right there, like it did right there, just kinda chop over here. Allow those, I can see from previously the EMA ribbons in here on, Litecoin. It walked sideways until blue, at least the blue, got down below the, 400, and blue is all the way up here right now. It's all the way at $89. So it walked the line until it got down right there, walked the line until it came below that 400 right there, walked the line until, yeah, 400, yeah, right here. Take a look. I'm assuming that it'll just walk the line and then it'll get some sort of common bounce that it usually gets right now. Last time I was looking at it against Bitcoin, um, we got, I think, that pump and this one right here. Yeah, and you see it's broken all of the levels that I had in here that I was looking at um, beforehand for it. So it broke this one. This was the last one that I had against Bitcoin. So it's not faring up very well. It is a broadening. No, I don't think I did a broadening. I think I just did this. I think I just did this line right here on it, which worked out really good with determining this point right here. So, ooh, I still like Litecoin, but oh man, I'm 35. That's how low was it getting before? 35, 29. That's supposed to be about the average statistically is about I would say 29. So yeah, I look for it to chop right here and then try to get a bounce off of it. I don't think it's ever really gone lower than that. It hasn't. It hasn't gone lower than that. So that's something to consider that it just holds in here and then it bounces up. So I'll keep my same bullish bias on it. And it's at 35 right now. Got one too many in here. Hold on. Is there another one in here? Oh, never mind. My writing. Anybody that's not aware, these are bear market lows right here. Um, absolute low, which we shouldn't hit to make sure. 80. I'm sorry, I'm saying 80, $8 and 82 cents. Not even 82 cents. 808. I'm such a dyslexic. Dys- um, where we at? I mean, we're just let's slide that. I've been buying, not every dip, but just the key levels in here. So I'm prepared to buy again if we do come down here to 910. I'm gonna stop buying at 910 because the idea is that we don't go below that point right there. If we're going below that point right there, then we're violating the bear market lows, and I'll just be stuck with what I own. But Chainlink is such a strong project, and it is being utilized. So it's just sort of flatline. I'm gonna drop that. I'm still holding my trend line through here, which is great. No violation of this one, which is good. I could change this, but like I said, if we're taking out this low right here, um, I'm kind of screwed. And the only way I could change this is I don't know, in just a second. I can do that. Used to do it like that, which just so happens to line up with where our low, where we cannot take out this low. So I can work with that. Yeah. So if we do lose this in here, again, bear market lows, which is why I started buying it at the bear market lows. Um, so anything through here, with the exception of this low, I will not buy beyond that low. And the way the bear market low works is um, I go monthly. My trend line didn't follow, which is okay. Can delete that now. We hit the first target. We didn't hit that second one. I don't know. We got that in there. The way bear market lows work is the percent scaled. It's like this. Whenever price drops, it drops into this dynamic cloud right here, and it respects the low. Now here, it did deviate ever so slightly below. It was this wick right here. It did deviate below this wick right here. Um, I still don't care. I stopped buying. If it breaks this low, I don't buy anymore. But hopefully, if it does break that low, the deviation is about like this, and then it, just to move out of here, to bounce out of here. So I'll still be okay. So you can see how that lines up. So let me fix that line that didn't follow. Another one that's in the lows in here. H bar can come all the way back down here and still be okay. I don't want H bar to do that, but and I don't have another level down here for H bar as I just excluded it. Just gonna add this one. It's not how I usually measure it, but I'm just gonna do it like that. I'll come back and look at it later to fix that. We continue to kind of bounce around that weekly level there on H bar, and I do hold H bar. H bar is one that I'm not accumulating though. I stopped accumulating on certain things. The only one that I'm still willing to buy right now is really like Chainlink, Sui, and Chainlink. Let's see what we got through here. I'm just continuing to hold this these highs in here, but the weekly level low drop down, and I would look for us to come back into here. You can see that the fair market low though does suggest that price can come all the way back down here towards the low, maintain that low, and then get a rise up from there. So if you're somebody that's interested in buying Hedera, I say anywhere from where it is now is going to be a good place to accumulate on it, with the expectation that we are going to see some sort of a decent rise out of it. I'm just going to say decent. So, you think H bar is a crypto Ponzi? Which one do you think is a crypto Ponzi? Or you think crypto is a Ponzi altogether? Just change my mind. I don't have to worry about draw it. Yeah, do it like that. Doge, because we talked about Doge a couple of days ago. Um, and I was saying I thought that Doge was going to be a good buy. Actually, it was like last week, beginning of last week, I think it was. We talked about Doge, and it did get this little break up above here. Um, so last week, when was it that we talked about Doge? We talked about Doge though. Um, nice move into this order block. That's nice. This order block holds. Yeah, That's a weekly level in here, but it doesn't guarantee you whether or not you're gonna hold the 1269 or if you're gonna hit down here, but it is holding this order block after that breakup, order block back test. I think Doge looks nice. I think I looked at, let's see what I was looking at in here. Yeah, Doge looks good in my opinion. Now, can it fail this? Absolutely, it can. But I love. Like we knew that they had some confluence with this trend line right here with the moving average running across it. Got the breakup, back test, still holding on this 200 right here. So yeah, it's holding in here. That's great. Even if it's with the liquidity, it doesn't invalidate the idea of it being able to get that push up in here. I like that aspect. And I can take a look at, looks like it might have hit standard deviation too up here. So maybe it was trying to do like a Bollinger expansion, some kind of failure on it. Yeah, it did. It did a little slight Bollinger expansion in here. And then you can see where it fizzled out. So yeah, it's a great place to take a long position off of Doge with a low. I mean, risk management would be really good on this one too. Say you got into it from where it currently is at, and the low was just right here. Minding your leverage. Actually, I'm gonna put it underneath that. Minding your leverage. Be looking for a move. Let's just put it back here on VWAP for starters. And if it does more than that, then it does more than that. But it's not a bad place to pick up Doge. I think that gives it enough space for an SFP. I think it does. Let me see if I at least get 10 out of it. It's a higher time frame. That's 4. It's about 4. 10 would be too much. Yeah, that's too much. So yeah, that's enough space right there. So a lot of space, but I was actually just trying to capture this low of this Bollinger right here. Uh, and I'm gonna leave it like that. You can set yours however you want to set it. This is assuming that you're not using leverage. I don't know anybody that be using leverage and let price move against them by 10, unless your leverage is like 2, 1 or 2. Yeah, I think I had the Coin King to take this right here, and uh, and then he wanted to go back in and add to his position, and he's not a trader. He wanted to go back in and add to his position, and he ended up taking a short right here, which was perfect. Like people who don't do technical analysis, they be on point sometimes. He ended up taking the short, but I closed him out of it. I could have let him make some money. But this, I guess this isn't bad right here. I actually like this a lot. You still at the order block, so that's nice. See what Bitcoin is doing for us right now. Just still hammering away at that trend line right now. Doji looks pretty good. This must be about let's see if this is even a 50. If I took it from the high. No, it's just above a 382, which, I mean, from there, from here, it's more like a 50% replacement. So that's, uh, that's doable. TRX. Doesn't look too shabby. I'm trying to understand why I have no momentum showing up for it though. Entry one, entry two, VWAP rejection, and if it retraces, I would just look for it to come back into this level right here. Not too much of a deviation away from that level right there really takes place on it. This is the daily. Clear rejection. VWAP and here, clear rejection. But if long as it holds, it looks like as long as it holds, looks like as long as it holds this weekly zone right here, no problemo. And then of course we know that because then it would take out this low right here. Chances of it going down look pretty strong right now though. Uh, it's been a long time since I posted on Tron. Do have a trend line down to here. Let's change this one just because I like things to in the middle of nowhere. So short term, that's what I'd be looking for. It's just a move back down here into this zone right here, which low is like 27.64. If it breaks that, then I would just look right here. This is pending, depending on momentum getting trashy enough to make it down here. It will have the lower high. Let me really count this quick. Lower low at this point, but even that could turn into like some sort of a flag formation or push back up on Tron. You can never be too certain on Tron. Momentum has to be pretty weak for it to come all the way back down here to this point. But it's possible. I think that they prop Tron's price up, and if I were to call anything a crypto Ponzi, it would probably be Tron. Let's see. Why do I have this here? I like to pull it off of where it gets the bounce from, which meant I would have put it right here. Is that why it did that? No, that wasn't. But that's still the rejection weekly level also, which isn't labeled weekly, but it is a weekly level. So yeah, we can look for that. And then let me see if I put it on the start of this move right here. Just slightly. The standard one must be right there still. 1 second. We'll leave it like this. just off of that low there. VWAP doesn't guarantee that it holds it. It can still break it. But that's my short term, just back right here. Um, Looking for it to hold that. If it doesn't, then I do see it coming back in here about 24, possibly even the 22. It's not a big difference. I'm gonna go back to Bitcoin and take a look back at gold also. I think this was the midpoint that we're watching. Just wanted to see how likely it was that that was the pattern. Not like it. You really don't have anything. It comes back into here. It could be a buy. I mean, this is where it tends to bounce from. Tends to bounce from here. If you're lucky, you get it back here to that one, and then if you're even more lucky, then it's going to come somewhere in here. This is actually it broke through this right here, but this is designed after this happens. It shows where the average participation took place at, and that's going to be right back up here about 347. But right now, yeah, this remains average participation low right here. So like this, at worst, it comes back into here, I guess, at worst. We've seen some things where they just absolutely nuke through here. Whatever it's trying to hold in here is important. A little high in here. It is important though. It's bearish though. Bearish right now. Um, Weekly bearish, daily bearish, 4 hour flipping back bearish. Potentially, potentially. It's on the cuffs of some weird deal right there. It's holding. It's trying to hold. You got some good liquidity right here, though, just in case something happens, the market opens or something like that. You got some good liquidity right here to possibly just get an SFP and nothing more. But it is decent here on the 4 hour time frame. I think I'd stick with that 4. Yeah, it's pretty decent in here on the 4 hour time frame. That if it did come down here, maybe an SFP and then a continuation up, that looks pretty decent. Usually when it's when it's riding above here, it usually does pretty good, um, just like over here. So we'll see how this turns out. Just neutral. I think I've gone too far. I haven't really looked at this stuff. Look back at our Bitcoin, which is just chopping that trend line right there. Which, if you didn't know, let's see. That was our bear market. I'm sorry, not bear market, but our bear flag low. That's what that trend line right there is. Our bear market. Bear market. Keep saying it. Bear flag low. Which the daily has had a hard time holding. So everything above here is going to look like a wick on the daily time frame. Not really getting anywhere. Check back on gold. Gold is back at the previous day high. You probably don't get too far on gold right now. But, yeah, silver's still holding. Not that it doesn't have a bear deal. Um, Considering that that line keeps popping out there. If I didn't see the line, I would say it had a bear deal. Oh, it does have a bear deal. It does have a bear deal. Which we said could get invalidated, but I'd be looking for a short. Not, I mean, not as necessarily something that's going to go too far either. If anything, maybe it just comes back down here to the previous day high. So it's not worth the time, especially when it's moving the way it is. Um, Maybe just look for it to get back down here to the previous day high and bounce away. And just lock that in. Still close to 100. Did it tap it yet? No. No $100 tap yet. Too many bears come in. Won't work. Beautiful squeeze. Doesn't have me looking for some downside. I didn't get what I wanted. It's Mhm. Yeah, I forget how to get rid of this. This one I never looked at on the chart before. Oh, nothing to do with this chart. This bearish divergence. Daily divergence, but that looks good. Just add this. I'll wait for this next one to pop out here on it, unless it rolls back over here. On platinum. That looks pretty good. It looks really good. And Bitcoin continue. Okay, Bitcoin is getting through there. Okay, a little bit more. Um, mm, I can almost guarantee we're bear diving this entire time up. Not on this time frame, somewhere else. But we are in the pocket on the 15-minute time frame. We are just in the pocket. We are just we are just in the pocket right here. See it right here too. So yeah, some sort of a slight bear div. Almost looks like what we did over here. Maybe we just push back up into the standard again. And you can see that's at 89, 950. Sorry, that's irritating me. I'm just gonna use my finger mouse instead. So maybe we just push back up somewhere into here. Reacting off of those lows. Market's getting ready to open here soon. If we're bear diving up, then they'll just send us down. Um, as much as I would dread getting stopped out, you can see us reacting. This resistance right here. I think that's like a one-to-one right there. That would be a profits locked. I'm not locking anything right now, though. Tell you the truth. I have to use this mouse. It's hard. Give me just a sec. Mm. Take off. Put it on this one. At this point, this can be adjusted. Um, Hey, Loza. Enjoy your coffee. Coin King is over there mocking me, Loza. I'm so happy that you stopped by. Let's see. All right, so nice little close outside of it this time. I said maybe it comes back up here. Hmm, Market just opened. Not shabby. Let's see over here. The video looks like it wants to keep going. That's pretty cool. It is the first couple of minutes, so I give it the first 15 minutes first to see how things go. With let's see if we invalidated the bearish divergence or not. Yeah, we actually did invalidate the bear div at least. Um, Not that one. Not against this high one. If it loses that, then I would be looking for a low somewhere. What are we looking at down here? What's that? 88,928. It's about 88,920, something like that. If it does start to lose that standard deviation, but that 20 SMA right there, then I would look for it to pop all the way back down here to that 88,920. Let me be a little bit anal. I'm about to get out of here though. Yeah, that's gone now. 88,920 is somewhere right around that entry point. There's so much joy just watching these candles drop and pop. It's a lot of joy. All right, let me just say thank you to anybody who stopped by today. Um, to hang out with your girl down Crypto TA. This is the man's show. It's his channel, not his show, because this is down at Crypto TA hosting here. But this is the Coin Kings channel. Every now and then he'll say something. Every now and then he'll put out a video. But for the most part, it's me. Over the weekdays, I will not be able to do anything. I don't stream on the weekends. Um, I will post something if there's anything relevant worth posting. As you can see, we're pretty chop city right now. 88,920 is what I said, somewhere down here around this entry point, and see if we can't hold that. If we're breaking through there, we're going to be expanding. Don't mind the little small um, drops over, but anything more than that, maybe wishes will come true. Mm, that's a terrible candle right there, though. I can tell you that much. They ain't playing with that candle. Decisions. Still trying to hold it, but it is outside of that band, but it's still trying to hold it. But that doesn't really matter with this candle right here. Just engulfed all of this chop that happened prior to market open. And let me take a look over here. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that put wall target that I mentioned to you. We're almost in negative gamma. Not quite, but pretty close to that right now. information I was fishing for today. So the platform does suggest that it could do something around about what I was talking about, but they're pushing it in a little bit lower. They have it, um, they have the move for somewhere around like 49 at the low, somewhere between at 50 and 49 on the negative side, and on the positive side, somewhere between 51, 55, and 52.50 is what they're suggesting, um, for IBIT. Okay, take a look at that for 24 hours. Yeah. So I mean, that's what I would just keep looking for. If it's filling in here, I look for that bullish divergence to kick in with the liquidity down here being taken. That'll be your best long shot right there. Otherwise, it manages to hold where we're at right now, and we see another push back up somewhere around in here, at least for starters. And if it continues to chop and consolidate sideways, then the 4 hour might have a bigger chance of pushing um, up there towards this high. I'm gonna actually bring this in a little bit since um, it shifted just a little bit there. Aside from that, nothing. If you got the short yesterday, then you still haven't made more than you made yesterday. Still haven't made more than you made yesterday. Did manage to get profits locked on this thing right here. I didn't lock any profits in on it. It's a hedge for me against my short position. Um, I'm still in this long though. Tell you what I did do is I modified my entry on that drop down right there. So my entry is a little bit lower in here now. Not because I think that, not because I think that this is gonna create some massive bounce. I mean, given that wick right there, that's a terrible wick. We could start to stay in the pocket and just continue that trend downwards. But I just figured I'd jump, take an opportunity on such a candle like that to move my entry in on that if it's gonna work out for me. If not, I'm short and my short is up over 160 some percent right now, so I won't complain about that. With that said, I guess there's nothing else to do here. Ethereum, I'll show you that real quick. This is not going to be steady. I usually line it out, so I would be looking for something like that. And where it did drop, yeah, it's kind of holding on to that right now. So yeah, where it was before it started to flip down, it's holding that. That turned real quick. Take a look here. Still the weekly level right here. Um, still a little order block right here. I corrected those weekly levels over here. You know what? I should have corrected them over here too, and I didn't. So I could go in and change that, but they are correct over here. So it just barely, um, I didn't change this to weekly. This is 4 hour. This is 4 hour pivots. 4 hour pivots, which we already swept at yesterday. So value area low. And again, if it loses that value area low, I would just start to look right here at the 277, 26.49 right here. Ethereum, as it again has been our range between we've basically been ranging between I messed that up, range between here and here. So that's basically what we've been doing. We could just continue to do that sideways dance right. So I would just look for that. You can stand in the pocket, which it looked like it might be trying to stay in this pocket. I'll give an update on this position later on. I appreciate you. I love you, and I'll see you on Monday.